From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over the breaking news as a possible deal is upon us with that recon. No less than 24 hours from now, we could have a potential deal. Then we'll be turning to why the Democrats haven't sold the American people on the recon and what has gone on. Then the price is right. A new recon price is proposed and it will likely come in around $2 trillion, but could even lower be better for you. I'll explain the great news across the board. Programs in, programs out. Several programs fell out yesterday, came back in today, but did they go out by the end of the day? Then we have student loan debt. More debt could be forgiven by the weekend. I have the latest details. We'll be going over to a COLA raise and the first update about this stimulus in several weeks. It's breaking tonight on Evenings LA. Then we turn to a lot of breaking details that happened in the last minutes before this broadcast. On air tonight on Evenings LA, I will show you how one provision and one group of Democrats that are not in the majority are trying to take up 25% of your recon for their program. They're not winning on it, thank goodness. Who are they? What do they want? I have all those details and more. We also have big details breaking on which programs fell out since the Afternoons LA show. The Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock, this show at 5 o'clock. You're going to see what's changed in the last 2 hours. I have a lot of major updates just in the last few minutes. It's a big night. It's a big Evenings LA. It feels a little bit like trading fantasy football. Instead, it is a very deliciousness stimulus. It starts right here, right now, as Evenings LA starts. I hope you're having a beautiful evening. And tonight we check back with Pelosi and also Schumer and Hoyer that say a deal could still be done by tomorrow. Will they make the proposed deadline that's self-imposed or will they not? LA told you so. Americans don't know about the recon and no one knows what's in there, but you do. And tonight I'm going to give you the latest rundown of what's changed. The price is right. We'll be going from 1.7 to 2 trillion. How many years of programs will this be? Are the latest details. Which programs are out and which are in? I have that and more. And also I have that one program that one person is trying to get in there that would cost 25% of the bill just for that person's program. Not happening. Thank goodness. We don't want that happening at all. We'll be going over what's going on with student loan debt. More debt could be forgiven by the weekend. And then the COLA raise, the great news, as we have our first update about fifth stimulus in many weeks. This is great. They're now talking about fifth stimulus starting, and it would be big. Those details and more as we go into a big overnight in evening's broadcast. What's important to know is that the situation is very fluid, and I have the latest rundown. This is the final update of the night after negotiations continue throughout the day, and this is Evenings LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. In this recording, get a pen and paper out because it's going to be information overload just like last night's Evenings LA. This is the final recording of the day that is brand new based upon the negotiations of the provisions of the recon. And yes, as one viewer said, it's a nail biter. Get that pen and paper ready, but first subscribe. Subscribe because the best channel there is. Americans getting most information here. And this is all inside information. Like the video, consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to the details. The recon will pay viewers this channel on average about $15,000. It's incredible. It's absolutely wonderful. $15,000 over a series of programs. As soon as the recon becomes law, I'm going to show you how to get this sum of money because that's what I do. That's what I focus on. The recon was passed in a subcommittee several weeks ago with 3 clusters of checks passed. Since then, we've had 3 add-ons items proposed to go on top of those passed items. I'm going to go through each of those clusters, show you which items are out, which ones are in. Some may have changed since Afternoons LA. Some may be getting watered down or reduced since Afternoons LA. It's a very fluid situation. I have the latest update, and it starts right now. Cluster number one, hazard pay and $4,000 of elder care staying in there so far. This is the first cluster checks. They're going to broaden the EIC, the Earned Income Tax Credit, so more people qualify for the money and also get it across the board. $4,000 of elder care per year in there as well. $4,000 of care for young children. The college grant staying in there directly to the university, the student, and also the Pell's grant made tax-free. But the big money for the home repairs, yes, stayed in there. That's a big one, a very popular one among viewers. If you live in a low-income community, the federal government give you incentives, free money to repair the home. The child tax credit, which I'm biting my lip because I'm about to say something. Later in this video, you're going to see one person who wants to take up $2 trillion of a recon with 500 billion, that's 25% of the entire recon on the CTC. That person is losing the war, thank goodness, because you don't want that to happen. The CTC is likely at this point being reduced to 1 year, which would be $300 a month over 12 months, $3,000 a year. That person instead is trying to do something else. I'll explain to you who he is or who she is and why you are very glad that fight that person's putting in is not winning. It's coming up later in this video. Then also in their pass and staying in there is up to 15% for the purchase price of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric vehicle, personal use, and U.S. auto manufactured, and a little bit more if it's for business use. The first item being add-on is that $25,000 from Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters wants to provide you $25,000. Sorry, Kwang graphic there. There are a lot of 25s on the show tonight. $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Maxine Waters is trying to get it in there. No status update on that. This is money that would be provided to you potentially during the escrow period so that you would have $25,000 of hard cold cash to use for the purchase price of your first home. No updates whether that's in there yet, but we do have an update about Maxine Waters' already passed provision in there for housing. She has about $200 billion in there for rental aid. It is still in there, and Maxine Waters is fighting tooth and nail to keep it still in there. We'll have the latest update tomorrow on Mornings LA to see if it stayed in there overnight. Home repairs and paid leave is cluster number 2. Here's where it starts to become a little bit more contentious. In the second cluster of checks, we have a series of items. Let me go over each of them one at a time, and then I'll go over which are in, which are out, which are getting watered down, and which have been a battleground. Paid family and medical leave. That's $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year, $800 a week if you make $35,000 a year, and $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year. Paid family leave, you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay home because your son has broke his leg. Childcare programs, household tax credits, checks for pre-kindergarten, totally free, community college, totally free, and weatherizing your home. Yeah, if there's one thing they're good at keeping in there so far, the home stuff, thank goodness. So weatherizing the home is staying in there so far. This is definitely needed, especially the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep them out of the Senate. So in this second cluster, what's the update tonight on Evenings LA? Well, the community college has really been an unclear situation. It was originally supposed to be lifetime free community college. That's definitely not happening. Then yesterday on Afternoons LA, Jalapal said it's out. Community college, even though she wants it, it's out. Nancy Pelosi may have tuned in yesterday because she went to press and said, "Who told you community college is out? It's in." Now tonight, an indication is that it's either out or is 2 years or less, that it's not going to be more than a 2-year program. Interesting. Then when we turn to family leave and medical leave, and I'm going back to this later in this video, there's a lot of people who want it out. Nancy Pelosi, as the Speaker of the House, is absolutely adamant it's staying in there. I'll have the latest update about that coming up in this video. Let's turn to the second add-on, which comes from Senator Bob Casey, the Democrat out of Pennsylvania. He's 61 years old, and he wants to put in $250 billion into that recon that would be for paid family leave. Paid family leave, paid home health care. I'm so sorry. Paid home health care. He sees a big problem. It is a big problem. You can't afford home health care, so what he's going to do, give big money to cities, counties, and states so that they could provide you a home health care provider totally free. And that would allow your son and daughter to go back into the workforce because they've had to stay home to take care of you because home health care is too expensive. What do I see going on with 250? I don't see the 250 number working. 250 would be literally a quarter of the price tag of a $2 trillion recon. So I don't see 250 working, maybe getting reduced. But I have no updates on the status of the program from Bob Casey. I do have a lot of updates about cluster number 3, which literally looks like Game of Thrones. It looks like West Side Story, just with just with worse dancing, just with Vermont mittens. Okay, here we go. Free school meals for all, checks, tax paid checks, cheaper prescription medication, checks for free internet, checks for farmers, checks for clean energy, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for Medicare, dental, vision, hearing care, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. All right, of those items, the lowering the Medicare eligibility age, world exclusive, you're only going to hear from me. Bob Casey wants to drop it to 60 from 65. Of course, he's the 61-year-old Democrat from Pennsylvania. Looks like that's happening. But right next to it is the dental, vision, and hearing care checks from Bernie Sanders. You're going to see this later in this video. This is in big danger. Bernie Sanders wants a lifetime, not going to be lifetime. President has floated a lot of options. 1, 3 years, other vouchers. Both of them are really not sitting well with Bernie Sanders. This is one of his big projects, big babies in the recon, and this is the one that's really under fire. The prescription medication. Yes, Kristen Sinema wants this change. It's likely has been changed because I haven't heard anything about it. So I think that's no longer a problem. And then the clean energy. The clean energy is not the only climate provision of the recon, but it has a sub-provision in there, which Joe Manchin said a week ago to the president, take it out. It's a non-starter. I won't do the recon if it's in there. President took it out, and that's really why Joe Manchin has become nirvana. Really just a totally brand new Joe Manchin since Monday. Ever since that provision was out, which was a non-starter for Joe Manchin, he has been wonderful. So let's go to the third add-on that is across the board, and that third add-on is, of course, that MSC IRS stimulus check. We have a couple things at issue with this add-on of the MSC stimulus check, which is first, where, and then when, and then also us. So first, the where. We have Chuck Schumer, who's the majority leader of the Senate, saying, I'm going to do it. And he tells Debbie Applegate a week ago, he told Donnie's wife the week before that, and he told a viewer going last weekend, he's added in there. That comes after Coons, Casey, Warren, Sanders, Schumer, all Democrats, all senators saying they're going to add it on the Senate side. We have always had House members saying they're going to add it on the House side, but now we have some House members saying they're going to add it after bill, before vote. Really interesting across the board. So what are they saying? After bill, before vote. Let's go over the different opportunities of when they can add this IRS stimulus check, which is very important. Very, very important. As you sit here right now, we don't have a bill. Do we have an agreement? No. They're looking to get an agreement on the recon by Friday, or they say the end of the week, which I guess could include Sunday if they work throughout the weekend. An agreement. Then they're looking to write it up and get it to bill format by the middle of next week, and then call for a vote by the end of next week and pass it in the House. Or call it for a vote in the House by the end of next week. It's at that point that House members like A. Omar's office tells viewers of this channel that she would introduce an amendment on the House side to add in a monthly stimulus check provision, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months. That's what they're saying. Now, do they come through on it? We'll see. We also have the big backup plan, which is probably the biggest of all of them, which is the 2-day Senate vote-a-rama. The Senate vote-a-rama goes last. And the Senate vote-a-rama is where the senators have the last say. And the senators can do whatever they want, and boy, do they always. In early 2021, I detailed how senators changed the FPUC provision dramatically. I also detailed how the senators saved you upwards of $20,000. What did they do? The senators, in this case, it was Schumer and Liz Warren, saw that they were going to get debt forgiven, student loan debt from the president. But under that law at that time, if student loan debt was forgiven, you have to pay taxes on debt that's even forgiven. And how much is that? A fortune, up to $20,000 of taxes you'd have to pay the IRS. Liz Warren and Chuck Schumer slid in during a 2-day vote-a-rama. A Senate amendment said if the president does forgive student loan debts, it will not be a taxable event. They got it passed. So this is big that Chuck, Liz, Bernie, all these senators want to add it in on the Senate side. Which brings us to the first and last and always most important item, which is advocacy. You need to pick up that phone and advocate, because when you advocate, that is what brings you to the finish line. The number one person in the equation on the Senate side says, you need to advocate until we're over the finish line. Here's the message. They now have in total between congressional senatorial offices received more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. That's 3 million. Everyone's amazed by the touching stories from LA viewers. Now they have a better understanding of what the Americans are trying to do to get through this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories from the LA viewers, and they have the voice of the people across the nation in you, LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Very, very kind. Let's read the last sentence together on air, because it gives us our instructions going into tomorrow and next week. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy, Lalate, as you are the professional voice of the people, as you have become, and push until this becomes law. Very, very kind. Thank you. It also says what we got to do. You got to push, because you cannot sit back and presume that one step is finality or one step is security. You have to push to ensure that you have to push before a House bill is written, after a House bill is written, before a House vote occurs, after a House vote occurs, and before a Senate vote-a-rama starts. You have to push across the board. And guess what? We got a lot coming up in the second half of this video. Can you imagine one legislator wants to take up 25% of the entire recon with her project? Not going to happen. Not going to happen on my watch, honey. Not going to happen on my watch. I'll tell you who she is and what she wants to do. But a deal will be happening. Not that deal. Thank goodness. I'll tell you why this channel and you have really become a rare occurrence, because 90% of Americans don't even know this recon exists. Democrats are addressing the problem right now. The price tag, we'll go over what that price tag means for you and why the price tag signals that we are getting good sums of money across good periods of time. Programs in and programs out. This is the part of the show that I know you're waiting for. Get that pen and paper ready. It is like we're going over the latest fantasy football results this week. We're going to go over which items went out and in the last 2 hours. They are literally changing by the minute. And I have the latest updates, and trust me, it is different than 2 hours ago. Student loan debts. More debt could be forgiven by this weekend. I have the latest details as well. And then we turn to a great update for fifth stimulus. We haven't had one in a long time. Finally, we turn back over to the first 1.5 years of this channel as it celebrates, and you celebrate, we celebrate our anniversary this weekend. We'll look back at what we've learned over the last year and a half with 140 million views and what it shows us going forward. I have all those incredible details, and the big rundown of where the legislation negotiations are is coming up in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings Lalate as a deal could be happening in the next 24 hours. Joe Manchin speaks about this minutes ago, and he says he doesn't say no about it, but he says he is waiting for the draft that would come thereafter. I am as well. LA told you so. Americans don't know that a recon even exists, let alone know what's in it. I have the latest details, what the Democrats are doing with this as well. The price is right, 1.7 to 2 trillion. But why is one Democrat trying to take up 25% of the entire bill with her provision? What is going on? Programs in, programs out. All the latest details on which items went out in the last 2 hours. They're changing by the minute and changing by the hour. Student loan debt. More student loan debt could be forgiven by the weekend, and this is deliciousness. And then COLA, the latest update about this stimulus that we have seen in several weeks. I have those details of war. We'll be turning also over to the incredible 1.5-year anniversary as this channel reaches 140 million views in the last 1.5 years. We'll look back and see what we've learned about ourselves, what we've learned about each other, and what we've learned as a family as we go into our big anniversary this weekend. It's a beautiful evening and the excitement just getting started. Get ready for information overload, as we called it last night, information overload, and it starts right now. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Remember, the Evenings LA show is totally different than the afternoon show all week long. This is the final update of the entire day. That is brand new, based upon the latest developments. You don't want to miss either of these two shows. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Let's go right into where we are tonight in these negotiations. So here we go. The situation tonight is that they are still looking at getting this done by tomorrow. Tomorrow is where they're looking at it, and I'll have a series of updates in just a second, but they're still on path for this. Jalapal says it's absolutely going to get done, but she's not certain about what date. We're going to get this done. We're going to get them done. It's a messy process. Democracy is not always easy. Negotiation is not always easy. There's differences. Everybody knows the differences, and we have to bridge them together and get them done, but we're going to deliver both bills, the roads and bridges, and also the recon. Pelosi and Schumer have told their members that they're looking to get the agreement done by the end of this week, and then the vote on the House side next week. We're getting there, folks, says Chris Coons, and the vibe has totally changed. The gaps are closing, and folks are being very clear-eyed, and we all know we don't want to do this in December. Senator John Tester says, I think we're making a lot of progress across the board. Here's my insight about the situation. I have new updates about this in a second. So you're going to see more updates about this timeline in a second. But this is a totally different group of people than it was a week ago. Why? Because the president heard the message loud and clear from Joe Manchin. Non-starter provision about clean energy. I'm not doing this recon unless you take it out. I've been saying this before, take it out. The president last week, about a week ago today, took it out, and that was what everything got moving. Suddenly, Joe Manchin became a totally new person, really nirvana, saying, I don't like this, take it out. I don't like this, take it out. And suddenly people started moving and understanding they got to remove provisions, and it really became a wonderful group. It may have also turned when Jalapal met with Joe Manchin, said she had a wonderful meeting with him. It always helps. People get along well, and then they can get things done. Kristen Sinema, not so much. She's coming up later in this video. She's still Secret Sinema. Meantime, what is a recon? There's a recon. Did anyone mention recon? 90% of Americans do not know this body of legislation is even being worked on. They don't even know there's a forced stimulus recon. A new CBS poll released this week says 90% of Americans don't even know the forced stimulus recon is being worked on. And the 10% that know it exists, the vast majority can't even tell you what is in the recon. This is why you're always going to see people that are jumping in the live chat saying, I never heard about this. I never saw this on local TV. I never saw this in print radio. It's exemplified today as what broadcast media and print media have defaulted to, and they should be ashamed of themselves. They're making it basically a reality TV coverage. Today, there was a series of reports that were out from one publication that said that Joe Manchin was switching political parties. Joe Manchin was so upset that I cannot use the word he used to press on camera. That's how angry he was, calling the article insanely untrue, basically. That is why Americans don't know what's in the recon, because no one's spending time to focus on what's in the recon. They're focused on salacious reality TV type storylines. Dick Durbin says, who is a Democrat from Illinois, I do not doubt it that no one knows what's in this recon, let alone knows it exists. I think it's the Democrats' fault. We have undersold and underperformed it, so people don't know about it, but we have a chance to turn that around. And the chance is finding that price. The price is right. Where is the price and where will the price land? Over the last few weeks, I've delivered a lot of exclusives, and one of them was about the duration of the programs. I said that most of the programs are probably at 10 years and when it's at a $3.5 trillion price tag. We now have that confirmation. So nearly 3 weeks ago, I said, just cut the programs to 5 years, and then you're at 1.7. Well, that's what they've been doing. And let's go over the 3 different price tags and what they mean for you. $2 trillion is a number the president has said to his Democrat caucus. He wants them to do $2 trillion. $2 trillion is great, folks. That's about 6 to 7 year programs. 1.9 is the number that the moderate Democrats said they'll go to before they start to feel squeezy. That is about 6 year programs. And 1.7 is where the moderate Democrats want it to be in their comfort zone. That's about 5 year programs. I like any of them. Any of those numbers work for you as well. He's been decisive, the president. He's showing great leadership, says Debbie Dingell. He's getting it done. There's really a great census at the time, says Patty Murray. We're seeing a timeline. There's a lot of struggle, but we're getting it done. And Steny Hoyer says, now we're making significant progress across the board. Let's go over the programs in, the programs out, and I got big updates tonight. This is going to be the big meat and potatoes of this recording. So, 24 hours ago, we were told that climate was out, or lots of climate was out, and all community college was out. 24 hours ago, Jalapal said there would be no community college. There will be something for higher education, but probably won't be community college. Well, Pelosi may have heard my afternoon show yesterday and came out because then she said, who said that? It's still in there. So that was by last evening. Community college and climate were back in there. And let's first go over timeline. Let's go over big cuts. Then we're going to go over the rundown, what's in and what's out. And then I'm going to go over new comments in the last minute. And I'm going to go over the new battleground items just in the last hour. Okay, here comes the big meat and potatoes. Timeline. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer says, I think members are in a position where they want to get it done, and we got to keep everyone in the tent. Nancy Pelosi says it's very possible the agreement on the recon will be reached by the end of this week. We continue to be on schedule. We have a goal, and we each milestone along the way where we're reaching our goal. By the way, every time I say the end of the week, I don't know if they mean Friday or Sunday. So I'm just making that very clear. I never know if these people stay in town for the weekend or they don't. So I'm saying Friday, maybe they mean Sunday. Big cuts. Yes, big cuts are still possible. Ben Cardin says maybe not quick as strong, but not quite as long. But Schumer says we need to get this done, and we will get it done by the end of this week. We're getting closer to agreement, and we want to finalize a deal by the end of the week, but we must keep on going. Okay, so here come the provisions. College and climate. First, tuition-free community college. Is that out? Jalapal said it was out afternoons yesterday. Pelosi came back and said, news to me, that is not a decision. Then, when asked about paid leave and paid family leave, there were some Democrats who were trying to take it out, paid family leave and paid medical leave. Last night on Evenings Lalate, I reported to you that it's not out, but Pelosi's under fire to take it out, and she told her Democrats in the room, I've changed more diapers than anyone else in this room. So I was in the live chat on last night's Evenings Lalate, not on air, but live chat, and I said, oh, so diaper stimulus is still in there. It was a joke. And people said, where do I apply for the diaper stimulus? Oh, my goodness. Sorry, there is no stimulus check to buy diapers. No, that was a joke because Pelosi says she knows a lot more about diapers than the rest of us. Speak for yourself, Nancy. There we go. As of last night, childcare, and as of this afternoon, childcare tax credit was looking at $51,000 over 18 years. That wasn't happening. Then child tax credit was being reduced to 5 years, which was about $15,000. By afternoons, it was at 1 year. The president says, I want child care tax credit to be 1 year, which would be about $3,000. Totally different than $51,000. More about that in a second. I have a new update about that. Obamacare subsidies and Medicare expansion still looks like it's good. It's still in there. But here comes that third cluster checks. That's where those items are really heating up. The dental, the vision, the hearing checks, and the Medicare checks, the checks for seniors. This is Bernie Sanders' number one baby in this recon. He wants them lifetime benefits. President is now saying, no, I'm not doing lifetime benefits. So then the president offered vouchers. Bernie said, I'm not doing vouchers. Then the president said, let's do 3 years. Bernie's not accepting it. This one is a big one of a battleground. Don't know where it's going. Paid family leave and climate. Paid family leave, you just heard Nancy saying she's keeping it in there. Other people saying it has to come out. It's too expensive. Climate is not being completely removed, but the clean energy provision, which is called the Clean Electricity Performance Program, which you all know what it is. Of course we do. That is definitely coming out. That is the Joe Manchin non-starter provision. It's coming out. The SALT issue, which is the cap on state and local tax deductions, it's going out. And then the community college. Where's that community college going to land? It can land anywhere from 0 to 2 years. They do not see the community college going more than 2 years at this point. Again, that's free community college. It's either going to be out completely, 1 year, or 2 years. Sinema and her secrets. Sinema is still causing problems even tonight about the back end, which is the corporate taxes and the rich person's taxes. And Representative Verona Escobar, Democrat of Texas, says Sinema needs to tell us what she wants. She doesn't tell us what she wants. We're just walking the vacuum. This is a guessing game with Senator Sinema. We're all supposed to be on the same team. That means transparency, communication, saying what you don't like, collaboration. But without it, it makes it challenging. I don't know what the red lines are with one U.S. senator who has an amazing amount of power. All right, here's the latest updates in the last few minutes. This is brand new tonight on Evenings LA. Beyond Friday, will this recon negotiations continue for an agreement beyond Friday? When asked whether the negotiations would continue past Friday, does that include Saturday, Sunday? Really sort of a bad question by a reporter. They should have said, hey, you're going to work on this weekend. Rather, they said, are you going to go past Friday? Which is sort of a vague way to ask a question. Joe Manchin says, I believe we'll still negotiate past Friday. Of course you're going to negotiate. You're going to negotiate to the very minute you vote. I mean, that's a very badly phrased question. But here Joe Manchin explains it better on the back end. He says, we're making great progress. There's a lot of details until you see the text and fine print. I agree with him. It's pretty hard to make a final decision. I agree with him. We can have the intent, just to make sure the text of the bill matches the intent of what people want to agree on, or what they do to agree upon it, then we don't agree on. Absolutely. He's just saying, we're making great progress, but I still need to see the bill. I love that. I mean, that's very, very straightforward. Bernie Sanders was asked about the issue, and Bernie says, we're still trying to get a framework in the next 48 hours. That comment was late last night. So he's saying by Friday evening, a framework, which is AKA the agreement. Pelosi, when asked about the situation minutes ago, tonight, says we're working very hard and the president's working very hard and the members. I think we're focused on getting this done this week. Obviously, there are challenges. Okay, what are the battlegrounds tonight? What are the battleground provisions tonight? Climate and Medicare, again. The hardest provisions they're having problems with at the moment are some of the tax provisions, the paid family and medical leave, the Nancy Pelosi provision, which, because there's a lot of money. I mean, it's, we're talking about $1,700 a week, $800 a week. That's an enormous amount of money. It's not a small amount of money. The Medicare expansion, which is the Bernie, the dental, the vision, the hearing, you've heard about this for 2 days, is a big battleground. And some of the climate provisions. Where do I think this is going to go? I think that Bernie is not going to get lifetime changes to Medicare. I think he's going to get more than a year. And I don't think all the climate's coming out. I think one of the climate's going to stay in there. I think the paid leave, I don't know what they're going to do with the paid leave. Paid leave is very, very, very expensive. And either you do it right or you don't do it at all. And if you have a smaller recon, it may not last more than a year or 2 years. Maybe they just do paid leave for 2 years. Jayapal gave sort of a vague sentence a minute ago. It's not clear what she's referring to. Maybe she's referring to me. Maybe she's referring to you. It would be outrageous not to include something that's so desperately needed to be done, and that's the most popular part of the entire package, and something that all of us ran on. She's talking about free pizza on Sunday. I don't know what she's referring to. That's why when you give a quote as an elected official, please say what you're referring to. I think she's talking about $12 ice cream for free for all. Climate. What's going on with the climate? A lot of the climate's coming out. Representative Amy Berra, Democrat from California, said that I'd like us to try to get a little bit more on the climate front, but if Senator Manchin can't be moved, then let's just take what we can get. I like that. That's good thinking. Okay. Here comes the part of the video where you're going to see me try to bite my lip because I'm trying not to look angry. Let big smile, LA. Don't show you're angry. There's this one person. What's her name? Oh, it's House Appropriations Chair Rosa DeLauro, Democrat out of Connecticut. What does she say? Big mistake. Not good for the country. What is she referring to? She wants more money of this recon to go to her particular project. For the first time tonight on Evenings LA, I have some numbers for you, and your eyeballs are going to jump out of your skull if they haven't already on all the information of this video. How much is the child tax credit at 1 year, which is likely where it's going to land, costing the recon? $109 billion. Good. With a recon that's $2 trillion, it's 1/20th of the entire expenditure of the bill. Good. We got 20 programs in the recon. It's 1/20th of the recon. Good. 1 year, $109 billion. What does she want? She wants the child tax credit to run to 2025, which would be 5 years. And for the first time tonight, I have learned she doesn't want it at $300 a month. Oh, no. She wants a lot more money per month, higher than that. She wants it higher than $3,600 a year. She wants it a lot more money. And she wants it tied to inflation. Is that convenient when your Social Security when your SSI and SSDI checks are not tied to inflation yet, because they haven't got to the fifth stimulus yet? She wants the child care tax credit to be tied to inflation. So as inflation goes to 10%, then their benefits will go, to $5,000 a year. $6,000 a year. How much is the total price tag she wants to spend a $2 trillion recon on for 5 years of the child tax credit? This one person. $556 billion. She wants to spend 25% of your recon on people who aren't born yet and tie it to inflation. When people who are born, who are seniors, are not tied to inflation, who have been on this planet and worked and have lived their entire life. Needless to say, she's not winning on this information. I just want to tell you, yes, I don't know if I'd include her on my Christmas card list. She wants to spend a quarter of your entire recon on raising the child tax credit even higher than I even thought it was going to be. So, bottom line, not happening. Thank you. Good try, honey. Not happening. Goodness. Let's turn to student loan debt and come back down to earth. Student loan debt, boy, this is getting deliciousness. Guess what? The president has proposed $10,000 of student loan debt to be forgiven. And this is again where I say, hey, take it. Remember that quote we just heard a second ago where the one person said, Joe Manchin with the climate, let's just do what we can do. This is what I'm saying with the climate. The president, when he was elected, said, I'm not doing $50,000. He said, over the last year, I'm not doing $50,000. He said, I'll do $10,000. I don't know what Liz Warren and Chuck Schumer are doing, but they should take it and run. They take the $10,000, everyone's student loan debts would be dropped $10,000 during the holiday season. And it doesn't have to be your final opportunity. You can phrase it so that you can come back and take more debt forgiven next year if the president changes his mind. But this is a big offer. Take it and go with it. The president has forgiven 2 other rounds of student loan debts before it. Actually, 3 other rounds. First, the president forgave student loan debts for people who became disabled after graduation. Your debts are now forgiven. Then, a few days ago, the president forgave student loan debts of individuals who went into the nonprofit sector after graduation for 10 years. Your debts are now forgiven. And just days ago, the president did the biggest one he could do, which is he forgave all student loan debts of individuals who went into the public sector, for 10 years after graduation. This is your city, your county, your state employees for 10 years after graduation. Your debts are forgiven. It makes sense. These are people that don't make a lot of money. They work for the post office. They work for sanitation. They work for the library. They're public school teachers. They don't make enough money to pay off the student loan debts over the next years. And they've done that job for 10 years. Forgive their debts. One viewer in the evening show last night said, how do I get these debts forgiven? Do I reach out to my employer? Do I reach out to the state? Let me tell you what my opinion of the situation is and my knowledge of the situation. First, I don't know exactly the answer, but I know this is between you and your lender. It's not between you and your employer. Second, it has nothing to do with the state. This is federal government stepping in saying federal student loan debts are forgiven. The order is likely at whitehouse.gov, but the order is likely also available at either the Department of Education or Department of Labor. If anyone gets the order, knows how it's being forgiven, send me a DM and I'll feature it live on air. Next, get ready those petty stubs or proof that you've been in that public servant job over the last 10 years. And remember, it has to be a federal student loan debt, not a private student loan debt. And there you go. Now, very exciting, as we have a big update about this stimulus for the first time in several weeks, and it is deliciousness. COLA is getting raised up. Social Security Administration announced that your benefits are going up 5 to 6%, but that's not the breaking news. COLA is going to raise your benefits up next year, but not just next year, lifetime, 5 to 6%. Fifth stimulus falls right behind that. And tonight we have a big update from a legislator who says, I've approached Nancy Pelosi and told her to get ready for fifth stimulus and do it right away. Wow, this is great. What is the legislator saying, and why do I think this is brilliant? The legislator says, and his name is House Budget Chairman John Yarmuth, so it's an important person, Democrat out of Kentucky. He said he approached Nancy Pelosi in the last 24 hours and said, get ready to do fifth stimulus early this next year and do it by recon. Why does he want to do this? Why? He wants to do this type of stuff, plus he wants to do Medicare expansion, senior care, or depending on what we decide to put in the package, then put it to recon and force the Republicans to vote against it, and then go into the midterm elections and say, hi, we got you a raise of your Social Security Administration check, and the Republicans didn't want to give it to you. Wow. Yarmuth says that he's spoken to Pelosi about using this fifth stimulus as not only a way to get you great relief, but also to use it in the midterm elections against the Republicans. Force the Republicans to vote against it. What is the reaction tonight? As you would expect. Senator saying, I'm too busy. Don't ask me. Ron Wyden, we got our hands full at the moment. I'm too busy right at the moment. Senator John Tessie, I haven't even thought about that. Too much thing. You're a senator. You can't think about too many things at the same time. Just too complicated. And Senator Brian Stotts, one thing at a time. I'm a senator. I can't do many things at a time. Well, there you go. What is fifth stimulus? Fifth stimulus would have two more raises up after COLA. First, they'll raise your benefits up, additional one step. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. And where is inflation going? It's going up next December, 1, 2, or 3%. Let's do the analysis. First, your COLA benefits are going to kick in. This is law. So your benefits are going to go up lifetime an average of 5 to 6% next year. Then if fifth stimulus comes right behind it, they'll raise it up again on top of that. And then when they apply the new benchmark at the end of next year, your benefits go up a third time. Then they're going to remove the asset cap. Dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law. It's going to go away. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to do a pair dance at your own wedding and get married like Rob and Sandy. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? Members of this channel, when third stimulus was debuted, I showed them that you can get upwards of $15,000. Now they're getting an average of $40,000. Well, I didn't have enough time to cover third stimulus in this breaking details of this week, or certainly today and yesterday. Watch our videos early in this week where I detailed the big money on the third stimulus. Rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance are all still being paid out. And I'll rejoin third stimulus coverage in a day or two as this news cycle slows down a little bit. Third stimulus pays out, and that money is still being paid out. As Mark got an additional $36,000 for rent, people have sent me private messages on social media. You do the same if you had a new success story in the last few days. I'll bring them all on air together in the day or two from now where I show your new success stories. Get that big money. Consider becoming a member. The link is under the video. Members are given that Lalate newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, about 2 hours after the show. It features the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. That's how you can get upwards of $40,000. As soon as fourth stimulus becomes law, I'm going to show you how to get all these big sums of money so you can get upwards of $15,000 under fourth stimulus as well. So consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and get that newsletter at 7 p.m. from the YouTube alert system and the Lalate alert system, which is also in the description. And with that, join me next as evening's countdown heats up after this. Then we go into a big slate of programming tonight. We have Street and Stimulus at 7 o'clock, Sirloin at 8 o'clock, then shows at 9, 10, and 11:30 tonight. 3 and 3:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. They're all about force stimulus. It's the same programs covered. It's the same programs of stimulus in that recon covered tonight in the show. These programs have been around and the topic of discussion on this channel since these earlier programs. So watch those shows tonight, which educate you more about these items in this recon. And then join me next tomorrow morning on early mornings L8 at 4 a.m., then mornings L8 at 7, the mornings countdown at 7, and then mornings L8 at 9. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, especially when a person wants to take 25% of your recon and put it to herself. Not to herself, but her program. Yeah, keep on smiling, even during situations like that. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful evening across the board. We got a lot of programming coming up tonight, and the programming is just getting started. What's important to remember is that you need to advocate. With advocacy on the line and our recon on the line, keep on pushing, keep on staying informed, and stay with LA for more.